Welcome to my channel, INTJ Island. Today I am going to talk about the INTJ's danger of falling in love with a narcissist. Unfortunately, this is based upon personal experience. It is not terribly complimentary to me, but I think it may help other INTJs, particularly young ones, to avoid falling into the trap I did. I would like to say up front that if you would like some very good information on narcissists, I would highly recommend the little Shaman YouTube channel. I will put a link in the description below. I found her information to be incredibly useful in learning to understand what narcissists are like. It was kind of spooky hearing about my own life with a narcissist in such detail. We depend upon a clear and accurate perception of reality in many areas of life. When we are driving a car or even walking down a flight of stairs, if we lose track of where we are, it can end in disaster. This is no less true of matters of the heart, especially with an INTJ. When an INTJ commits to a relationship, he doesn't do it halfway. And that means if it goes bad all the way. If you are an INTJ male, imagine the perfect woman for you. She is everything you ever wanted or could desire. Doc Smith wrote one of my favorite science fiction series of books called the Lensman series. In those books, there is a drug called thionite that is a huge problem in the galaxy, and they spent a lot of time trying to fight the spread of the substance. What was interesting about this drug was what it did when a human took it. It took over the mind, and suddenly every single want or desire, no matter how wonderful or how depraved it might be, was granted to the one under its influence. There were no repercussions and no limits, just complete and utter pleasure of every imaginable kind. The protagonist was forced to take a jolt of this drug in order to infiltrate the drug ring and bring it down. From that point on until his dying day, that man was changed and carried with him the mark of that experience. He never forgot it, and there was a perpetual yearning to be there again, though he never succumbed to it. It was a visit to a world created from an insane mix of experiences that ranged from attaining perfect bliss right through diving fully into the dark fantasies of undiluted debasement, far beyond anything ever experienced in real life. In these books, characters would use that experience as a metaphor when they were describing an incredibly beautiful woman as being a thionite dream. But in nearly every case, the woman in question was on the wrong side of the law, a bad apple. In the H. Rider Haggard book, She, there was a woman who was artificially altered by magic to appear to be so beautiful that a man could not look upon her without falling in love and being forever haunted by her beauty. And the story's narrator fell under that spell. In my own story, When a Goddess Calls, a wise man turns down the opportunity to be with a real goddess because he knew that forever after he would be haunted by her divine beauty. This problem of being captured and haunted by something unreal is not unknown to man. It is a recurring theme and a fear that runs deep. The reason is that this occurrence is not limited to fiction. It is possible to experience it in real life, and it is a horror story when it happens. What does this have to do with being an INTJ? I'm going to phrase this from the INTJ male's perspective. If you are an INTJ female, simply swap the sexes as desired, because it works out pretty much the same way. An INTJ lives life like a walled city that keeps the massive hordes away. People find us standoffish, solitary, and self-contained. We appear to not need others or to worry all that much about their feelings. What they don't realize is that inside our walls, we are warm and caring and highly vulnerable. In addition, we are romantically inept. We are not what Harry Chapin once called pick-em-up-easy kinds of guys. For me, the only time I actually pursued a woman I wanted was when I met my wife of over 42 years and counting. In every other relationship I have had, it was outside influences or the girl herself who made it happen. Girls were a magical mystery to me, and frankly, they still are. In addition to this, most people are not drawn to us because we are viewed as odd. If we don't go after the girls, and they don't go after us, we are not likely to strike up a romance. However, that makes us an easy target for a narcissist. In fact, we are tailor-made for their skill set. A narcissist can read us with an uncanny ability. She will approach, and with all her sensing ability on full power, she will find out exactly what we are looking for, and here is the most amazing part. she will transform herself into this creature we most desire. This isn't about makeup or some special way of dressing per se. This is about the woman inside. She can run a full emulation of the woman of your dreams, whomever that might be to you. She will figure her out and then become her. You are fooled into thinking you have found the perfect mate for all time. It is only later that you find out that it was a bait and switch game. It may in fact take years. It is not very complimentary to us that we can be so easily fooled, but it is a fact. The narcissist has the tools to get past our protective walls. She will use a sort of Trojan horse to move from outside to inside, where she can set up her domain for as long as she wants. She appears to be fascinated by your ideas. She worships your intelligence, and she shares all your dearest dreams. You never imagined such a woman could exist. And this lasts as long as necessary for her to win your heart and know that she is safely inside. Then, and only then, you finally get to meet the real woman who lives inside the body of the phony woman with whom you fell in love. An INTJ values truth and loyalty. It is very difficult for us to understand someone who will lie to us so easily or cheat on us without any remorse. My particular narcissist would lie even when the truth would do as well. At first I thought she was only making a mistake, or that she was trying to cope with the new situation. But later, as I got to know her more and more, that was how she really was. And the reason it takes so long for us to see what happened is because we see two completely different persons depending upon the circumstances. When the narcissist feels she is on shaky ground, and you might be getting wise enough to abandon her finally, she does the switch. Suddenly that woman you couldn't resist at the start comes back. She pours love over you like a sorceress, pouring out a magical nectar created from the grapes of Olympus. And you think that whoever that evil person was that took over her body for all that time is finally gone, and your true love has returned. All is well. It is incredibly effective, and today I am amazed by the fact that my first wife had already mastered this technique when she was only 16 years old. In fact, she was just barely turned 16 when we started dating, and she was only 17 when we were married. I was a year older than she was, but unfortunately she was far wiser in what she was trying to do. I later found that her mother was her mentor, being a narcissist herself, and I am sure that is what helped the girl to get so good so fast. She had me on a string for about 5 years before she left me, looking to upgrade to a man who could give her more resources. She dropped me without even a look back, no remorse. The craziest part of all that was that only in hindsight did I finally understand what had happened. I was a fool, and she knew it. When she was gone, and I was on my way to a happy life finally, she called me up months later and tried to wreck it. Her newest love hadn't worked out, so she was seeing if she could pull me back into her snare. She still had our son with her, and she knew that was a weapon to use. And she was crying her alligator tears on the phone like she really was sorry about the other men and what she had done to me. But by this time I was wise enough to hang up on that new attack. Thank goodness. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I had found my true love, my soulmate, and I had found out what the difference was between being in a healthy two-way relationship and one where I was in love all by myself. I wasn't going to give up my lady for anything or anyone else, let alone a phony fairy tale mirage of what I once thought was real. The moral of this story is, don't take anyone at face value. If a woman seems to be too good to be true, be wary that she may indeed be a narcissist who is trying to get you hooked onto her line. If you let her get away with it, it can be a huge problem to break free. Don't let it go that far, the way I did. If you are already in that situation, be warned, it will never get any better. She will not change, ever. She will continue to do the bait and switch game as long as you put up with it. Your only option is to get out of her life permanently. Otherwise, you may well spend the rest of your life in her cage. Of course, most women are not like that. They will be who they are, and you can honestly evaluate whether they are right for you or not. But when you meet a woman who is perfect, who has no flaws at all your warning flags should go up. A truly good woman, like a truly good man, will stand up to close scrutiny. A narcissist will not, because her facade is only skin deep. She will appear to be the perfect enchantress, who loves you utterly, when in fact she only cares about herself. The signs were there all along. Whenever I probed into the facade, I found it had holes in it. However, I wanted to believe she was real, and I pulled back rather than ripping the facade apart. I still shake my head at how stupid I was. Have you ever run into a narcissist? How did you deal with that? If you enjoyed the video, please click like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you click on the bell, you will also receive notifications when I put up a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.